a podium in a fierce debate hosted on KTN News. The candidates articulated a range of issues in a bid to convince Nairobi voters why they need their support come August. Hosted by KTN's managing editor Joe Ageo, the debate saw Miguna, Mike Sonko, Peter Kenneth and the incumbent Evans Kidero clash on ideas and personality, with each candidate defending their suitability and poking holes into the competence of their competitors, from cartels to unemployment to creating a conducive business environment. The four left nothing to chance, winning Kenyans on how best they understand the issues that affect Nairobi. So just take a look at how things went down last night.
Majestic people of Nairobi, fellow citizens and patriots, we are at a juncture in our history when we have to make a very momentous decision. If we make the right decision, Nairobi will rise and will prosper and will be like any other major city in the world, like Hong Kong or New York or Toronto or Geneva or any other metropole. You make the wrong choice, you are stuck with the garbage that we are experiencing, with the water shortages that we are experiencing now, and with the unemployment at 75% that we are experiencing now, with buildings falling on citizens, and with citizens being killed by the Kanjos, and therefore we got the Kanjo kingdom. Make the right decision. Leadership is about vision and about integrity. Miguna has both vision and integrity, and Miguna is the only candidate among the other three. I'm the fourth one with a manifesto. These leaders have come here empty-handed. They would want to make promises that have not been concretized in writing. Reject the cartels. Thank you.
I've been in public service for over 15 years, performed diligently with a track record, did what I could have probably done best for my constituency. I am born and bred in Nairobi, lived in Nairobi all my life. I've seen when services worked in our city, when everything was possible, but we've allowed the rot to get into our city. Nairobi is too important a city. With 50% of our GDP of the whole country in Nairobi, it requires a serious manager with a proven track record. A manager who will not just implement, but will oversee the next phase of Nairobi as the population continues to increase.
Nairobi is the capital city of the Republic of Kenya. As my brother Peter Kenneth has said, it controls the 60% of our GDP. Nairobians are the highest taxpayers in East and Central Africa. They deserve to have good roads. They deserve to have a clean city. They deserve to have a city that has no traffic congestion. They deserve to have a city that has no water shortage. The only problem hindering the development in our great county of Nairobi is number one, corruption, number two, corruption, number three, corruption. I want to tell the great people of Nairobi, had they known what had transpired in Mumias in 2012, 2013, they would not have voted for my brother here, Evans Kidero, as their governor. Nairobi, we need a mature leadership, a leadership that is ready to fight cartels. I've been the senator for the last 5 years. I have engaged, I have discharged my constitutional duties, and in my oversight role as the senator of this great county, I did thorough investigations and found that my brother here, Evans Kidero, messed up this county.
I love this city because I've always lived and worked here, and that's the reason why I requested you to elect me as governor in the year 2013. When I got into City Hall, I found it was a hole and a gutter with myriads and multiples of challenges, but also, as is written in the book of Ezekiel, on the Eastern Gate, lots of cartels. I have done the much I can. We have laid a foundation on which we are ready to take off. And I can assure you that I now know where all the potholes are. And I'm asking Nairobians to give me an opportunity to build on the foundations that I've laid.
All right, so that was the debate that was held yesterday at Daystar. It was, of course, in conjunction with KTN News and Kenya Daima. A very interesting debate that went down yesterday. And I now want to bring in my guests here in studio to discuss just how well the four candidates were able to bring out the issues and how they, will be able to, how they think they will be able to deal with some of the issues affecting Nairobians. I still have Jesse Odwor. He is a lawyer and an analyst. Thank you very much for staying with us. Then we also have Charles Kipkole. He is a political analyst. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so let's start with the debate. Do you think that after the discussions, Nairobians have a clearer mind on who they want as the next governor? I'll start with you, Charles.
Well, I think it's good that finally we are having debates, leaders coming and presenting themselves to the people and actually articulating the issues and the agenda for Nairobi. But I think the influence of this debate shall only be to an insignificant level because most of the voters who actually take active part in the politics of our country do so on the basis of other considerations, which is not really based on the issues that were articulated yesterday. So I'm thinking that the only persons who may be swayed to a larger extent in this, as a result of this debate, is mainly the upper class or the working class Nairobian who has time to interrogate issues and who also has a bit of political literacy to connect the issues that he has to the leadership. But apart from the normal the politics of Nairobi is divided. There is a very clear divide in the politics of Nairobi between the rich and the poor. And in the slum areas, the issue that comes out very strongly, number one, is ethnic politics. That is the basis of mobilization. So apart from the ones who primarily see the leader based on the ethnic extraction, the others who look at issues and attach the issues to the leadership are the ones who are going to be influenced. Unfortunately, they are a small percentage.
But are you saying that, the not so well-to-do do not want to hear what the other candidates have to offer, what all the candidates have to offer?
Well, they really... I'm not saying that, I'm not disqualifying the fact that they have issues and that these leaders have nothing to offer, but I'm trying to look at the reality of our politics. When you want to look at the leaders who presented themselves yesterday, there is a clear trend. We know who are the front runners. It's a two-horse race. And the foundation and the basis of that is ethnicity first, and secondly, party affiliation. It has nothing to do with issues.
Nothing to do with issues.
Yeah.
Wow. Jesse, what do you think? Is it truly that it's a two-horse race? And that there are no, it's basically going to be aligned to, the ethnicities and not really the issues that Nairobians are dealing with?
First, Betty, I want to say what a comic relief for Kenyans yesterday.
Really?
What a way to kill Monday blues. That was a good comedy for the entire country. But then to a large extent, I agree with my colleague here. Only I differ on some other issues. The debate actually gave Nairobians a chance to interrogate the candidates and to see what each one of them is bringing to the table. Like he rightly says, the Nairobi to a large extent votes between two things. The nationally will go within the ethnic mobilization of their parties. But then in comes Sonko, who tries to change all that. Sonko comes from his ethnicity with regard to Nairobi votes is so small. You didn't expect him to take the Jubilee gubernatorial candidature against PK, whose ethnicity is actually the biggest in this country. So he actually upset that narrative, the norm actually, as you put it, of the ethnic mobilization of votes. He strikes to him his brand of doing politics actually relates to the slum guys. So he's the mtaa person who will go out of his way without caring whether you are Luo, Kikuyu, you're Kalenjin. He appeals to the down sector of the society. But then that said, the intellectualism of this debate actually only helps the upper middle class and the elite to decide on who we are going to vote for, because guys have already made up their minds in these elections. I think that's why my friend is saying it's a two-horse race, definitely between Sonko and Kidero. But then in comes Miguna, who wants to be the Donald Trump of Nairobi, who wants to upset the establishment. And he puts it out there as it is and telling you, look, these guys are all thieves. I'm the clean guy here. I've come with a manifesto. These guys are just talking without saying anything. And then you come in with Peter Kenneth, who actually comes in as a candidate who understands what is going and has solutions and actually explains the things that he wants to do for Nairobi very well. But then at the end of the day, the voters will actually have to decide who between these four is best suited for Nairobi, putting aside the parties and the political affiliations and ethnicity. I think it's going to be an interesting race.
All right. Charles, who do you think won? I saw another poll online after the debate, and everybody was just trying to get to see who really won this debate. According to you, just leaving out the two-horse race issue or factor.
Based on the, thanks Betty. I think based on the performance yesterday and articulation of issues, I think the incumbent Governor Kidero came out strongly because, first of all, he maintained composure. And he was able to articulate a number of issues that he's been able to, his achievements as Nairobi governor. But he struggled so much because he was all put on the defensive most of the time. But in terms of composure and articulating issues, especially based on track record, incumbent Governor Kidero did well. Peter Kenneth tried to bring some issues. The challenge that faced him was the problem of he lost his cool most of the time, because he was trying to respond. He was kept responding to Miguna all the time, constantly. Sonko, I want to look at Sonko in terms of, Sonko is a maverick. He's in his own league. His politics is Robin Hood style. He does not perform in such settings. And when he realized that he's not delivering his message, he even switched his language and communicated to his people in his own signature language. And he realized towards the tail end, when the issue of the youth was coming out very much, he was the one who was able to speak really clearly to the issues. And he never struggled so much in terms of trying to look at the elephant in the room, which was the issue of the hawkers. Because these guys are balancing between now populism and also trying to do the right thing, because and the trend with Nairobi politics has been that you do not antagonize these hawkers who have a very big voter support base, and they vote as a bloc. So Sonko came out very clearly, and he was able to, I think, he's been focusing on that for a very long time, and he resonates with them.
All right.
Miguna, he was the rabble rouser. Of course, he stole the show. The challenge only is that he came as being too arrogant or vengeful, to the extent that he inspires. He made enemies of all of them. When they were doing the first opening statements, in 2 minutes, he was able to hit everyone. And now the next responses were based on trying to respond to Miguna. So in terms of ranking, I think the one who performed best, in my honest opinion, objectively, in articulating issues and being composed and also trying to focus on the subject, was the incumbent Governor Evans Kidero.
All right. Yeah. Who was largely on the defense, for the better part of the debate.
Peter Kenneth, I think this was an injustice to Peter Kenneth. He was the biggest loser of the night.
Wow.
Because I think he was not given enough time to defend himself. And then
but all of them were being given equal.
But there were times you could even hear Peter Kenneth saying, I think I need more time, or I need protection. And every time Peter Kenneth was speaking, he was not speaking his narrative. He was responding to someone, either defending himself about the issues of the insurance, the houses, that he's a stranger in Nairobi. And you could hear when Peter Kenneth was trying to speak, there's a time that he even tried to speak Swahili just to show that he can connect. So he struggled to connect, and most of the time he was trying to tell stories that when I walk around, he was struggling to show that he has this connection with the real Nairobian. So I think in terms of the person who struggled the most, it was Peter Kenneth.
Interesting. All right, so Jesse, what is your assessment of the four of them? How did they perform?
The four of them, each of them depend on, they go with a different school of thought. Bring in Miguna, this is an activist, so his activism was there, of course, rubbing everyone the wrong way. Kidero comes out as a technocrat. I'm an office guy, I'm a manager. I know how to handle things. I've been there for the past 4.5 years. He actually says, all the potholes in Nairobi, I hope he fixes them. Then in come Mike Sonko. He plays populist politics. he's actually, the way my colleague says, this was not his stage to talk to his audience. He had to shift. But then he came in a blend, and actually he realized where his shortcomings are, and actually said, I'm going to do the political angle of being a governor, and I'll let my deputy gather to handle the technocratic level, which was very sincere to Nairobians. This is somebody who was putting himself there open and telling them, look, I have these shortcomings, but this is my strength. I'm going to perfect them, and my deputy is going to do the other rest. We actually sold the stories, and I think even the technocrats who are a bit leaning, not decided, they could see that because they know what Igathe has done. And then now you bring in Peter Kenneth. Peter Kenneth wants to mix two. He wants to play populist, at the same time he wants to play technocrat. So he's a blend of Mike Sonko and Evans Kidero at the same time. But then the problem is he was so much put in his defense. I think he got so personal that he forgot for some time that he needs to sell his agenda to Nairobi. So at some point he lost his cool, and all throughout the debate he was trying to defend himself against accusations leveled by Miguna Biguna about Kenyari, against houses, about being somebody's squeeze, you know. So he forgot the agenda, and actually that works to the other candidates' level. When you go to a debate, it's about you selling your idea to the people, not responding, being reactive to everything that was being said. Finally, so to a large extent, I think Sonko and Kidero actually emerged as the only two people who are going for this race. Who are going for this race.
Interesting views. So let's wait and see how Nairobians will vote. But for now, we want to go to another discussion, and it has everything to do with the NASA presidential flag bearer, Raila Odinga. He heads to Kiambu today, and of course, yesterday he was meeting a delegation from Kiambu just before his visit today. And let's just hear what he had to say earlier on today.
Na viongozi hata idara majeshi wamekataa hayo madai, wamepinga, polisi pia wamepinga hayo madai.